Imagine waking up one day, checking your phone, and seeing your investments have grown by thousands, without you lifting a finger. That's the power of the stock market. But here's the harsh truth. Most people will never experience it. Why? Because they're scared, confused, or worse, they think it's just gambling. Let me ask you something. If you had the chance to make money while you sleep, would you take it? Or would you let fear keep you stuck in the same financial rut? The stock market isn't a casino. It's the single most proven way to build wealth over time. And today, you're going to learn exactly how it works. No fluff, no jargon, just pure knowledge that could change your life. But be warned, once you understand this, there's no going back. You'll see money differently. You'll see opportunities everywhere. And if you apply what you learn, you could be on your way to financial freedom faster than you think. So, are you ready to unlock the secrets of the stock market? Let's dive in. Point 1. What is the stock market? Think of the stock market as a giant marketplace, but instead of buying groceries, you're buying tiny pieces of companies. That's right. When you buy a stock, you own a slice of that business. If the company grows, your slice becomes more valuable. If it shrinks, well, you get the idea. Now, here's where most people get it wrong. They think the stock market is about luck, like betting on red or black in roulette. But the truth? It's about ownership. When you invest in Apple, Amazon, or Tesla, you're not gambling. You're becoming a part owner of some of the most powerful companies in the world. Still skeptical? Let me hit you with a fact. If you had invested just $1,000 in Amazon 20 years ago, you'd be a millionaire today. Missed that opportunity? Don't worry, because the next Amazon is out there right now, waiting for smart investors like you to spot it. But before you start throwing money at random stocks, you need to understand the rules of the game. And that brings us to our next point. Point 2. How does the stock market actually work? Picture this. You're at an auction. People are shouting numbers, hands are flying up. Chaos, right? Well, the stock market is kind of like that, but with way more zeros. Every stock has two prices. The bid, what buyers are willing to pay, and the ask, what sellers want. The difference between them? That's the spread, and it's how market makers make their money. But don't worry, you don't need to memorize this. Just know this. Prices move based on supply and demand. More buyers? Stock goes up. More sellers? Stock goes down. Now, here's the kicker. The stock market is forward-looking. That means it doesn't care what a company did last year. It cares what it will do next year. That's why a company like Tesla can be worth more than Ford and GM combined, even if it sells fewer cars. The market isn't just buying what's happening now. It's betting on the future. And that's where you come in. Because if you can learn to spot trends before everyone else, you could be positioning yourself for massive gains. But how do you do that? Well, that's exactly what we're covering next. Point 3. Stocks versus index funds. Which one is right for you? All right, let's settle the debate. Should you pick individual stocks or just throw your money into an index fund? If you're the kind of person who loves digging into financial reports, analyzing trends, and taking calculated risks, then individual stocks might be your game. But if the thought of researching companies makes you want to nap, then index funds are your best friend. Here's the deal. Index funds let you own a piece of hundreds or even thousands of companies with a single investment. They're boring, they're slow, but guess what? They work. Warren Buffett himself said that most people should just buy an S&P 500 index fund and forget about it. But here's the twist. If you want life-changing wealth, you might need to take a few smart risks. Because while index funds give you average returns, individual stocks can give you extraordinary ones. So, Which path is right for you? Well, that depends on your goals, your risk tolerance, and how much time you're willing to put in. But no matter what you choose, there's one golden rule you must follow. Point 4. The number one rule of investing: don't lose money. Sounds obvious, right? But here's the brutal truth. Most investors lose money because they break this rule. They chase hot stocks, panic sell during crashes, or worse, they try to time the market. Let me tell you a secret. The richest investors aren't the ones who make the most money, they're the ones who lose the least. Think about it. If you lose 50% on an investment, you need a 100% gain just to break even. That's math you can't afford to ignore. So how do you avoid losing money? 2 words: risk management. Diversify your portfolio. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. And never, ever invest money you can't afford to lose. Because here's the reality: the stock market will test you. There will be crashes. There will be moments when you want to sell everything and hide under your bed. But if you can keep your cool and stick to the plan, you'll come out on top. And speaking of crashes, point 5, market crashes, why they're actually good for you. Let's be real, market crashes are terrifying. But what if I told you they're also the biggest wealth-building opportunities you'll ever see? Think about it. When stocks go on sale, do you run away or do you load up? In 2008, people who bought during the crash made fortunes. Same in 2020. The best investors don't fear crashes, they welcome them. But here's the catch: you need cash when opportunities strike. That means staying patient, keeping some powder dry, and waiting for the right moment. Because when everyone else is panicking, you'll be ready to pounce. And that brings us to the most important lesson of all. Point 6. The mindset of a successful investor. The stock market isn't just about numbers, it's about psychology. Greed, fear, hope, regret, these emotions will make or break you. Want to know the difference between the winners and losers? Winners have a plan. They don't get emotional. They don't follow the crowd. They buy when others are fearful and sell when others are greedy. So ask yourself, are you investing based on logic or emotion? Because if you can master your mindset, you'll already be ahead of 90% of investors. If you've made it this far, congratulations. You now understand the basics of the stock market better than most people. But this is just the beginning. If you're serious about building wealth, you need to keep learning. And that's why I've got another video for you, one that dives deep into how to pick winning stocks. It's waiting for you right now, so go ahead and click the end screen to watch it next. Remember, the stock market doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't care about your background. It only rewards those who take action. So what's it gonna be? Will you let this knowledge collect dust, or will you use it to change your life? The choice is yours. See you in the next video.